Good morning, students of class 5. Today we are going to start a new chapter, reproduction in plants. We have already done the process of pollination, a little bit of revision. I'm going to do it today. So let us understand what is reproduction. So you have reproduction, okay? So re means again, and production means to produce copies of same. Right? So what do you mean by reproduction? The process by which living organisms produces young ones of their own kind. Right? So plant reproduces through seeds, stems, roots and leaves. Alright? Now let us go back to the pollination. Okay, we did pollination over here. Now this is the male part of a flower and this is the female part of a flower. Pollinations are of two types, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination. Now this red one that you see, these are the pollen grains. The transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of a flower. It passes through this and it gets fertilized over here. Alright, and this process is known as fertilization. We are going to learn this in detail now, the process of fertilization. Alright, now over here, so you can see over here now, when the pollen grains, this is the pollen grain, alright, this is the pollen grain, this is the pollen grain, when it falls on top of the female reproductive part, that is the stigma, right, it grows into a thin tube. Can you see a thin tube? This tube is known as pollen tube. All right, this tube is known as pollen tube, and it carries the male reproductive cells, which are carried from the tip of the stigma through the style. This is the style, till it comes in contact, right, till it comes in contact with the, this is the male reproductive cells, this is the, till it comes in contact with the ovule, where you have the female reproductive cells. All right, now when the male reproductive cells fuses with the female reproductive cells into the ovule, it forms a zygote. All right, it forms a zygote. And the fusion of male and the female reproductive cell to form a zygote is known as fertilization. Alright, so this is all about the process of fertilization.